Hello, everyone, and welcome back. I don't know what exactly happened with the peer review discussion board for memoir. I had two students contact me about a discrepancy on submissions on those, the date and time that those were open. So I'm going to switch this up here so we have student view so we can make sure I'm looking at exactly what you guys are. The week four, remember, there's really nothing additional that was added for week four. It's technically your guys' week off. I just had submission dates of things that were still coming up. The framing of this, yeah, let me see. So the framing of this had it open until I put it to the 26th, but I think one of the things with the original, I changed it to Monday, the 26th for you guys, and it originally was going to be the discussion board portion. Originally, everything closed on Sunday. So one of the files I think on here under your guys' discussion board form, I think for memoir portion, I think the availability I had it on one of these windows was only until the 25th. So that's why some students must have seen that. If they waited until the 26th to max that out, I think that's the case. But so on this, guys, I opened it up. Now, where it says March 21st here, that doesn't mean you can still submit up through that time frame. It's here. I left this open until the 29th. So on your home page, anybody that had an issue with that, putting your rough draft in there and then reviewing a classmate's, you should still be able to review a classmate's. That's the point of those forums on those. But this I have open till the 29th now, so you can still submit and go through and review a classmate's. My apologies on there. I'm not sure exactly how I missed the one where it was on my end. It showed it was still open to the 26th, but I think your submission window closed on the 25th. If not for everyone, then for one portion of the class, because I did have two students contact me about that. Now, for week four, again, there's nothing additional that I'm adding on here. Students are still completing that and going to the rough draft of the memoir, but instead of having it due the day afterwards, I have the rough draft due for my submission into the class. I have that for the 6th, so you guys have a couple of additional days on that, and then that would be the submission of those. I should be posting pretty soon here the rest of everyone's diagnostic. I think I got your whole class diagnostic. Maybe two of you I've left to publish on those, but then the stuff on your guys' summary outlines for memoirs, I should be able to be posting those very shortly here as you guys are working towards final draft. But I extended that as well up to the 13th. I'm not going to move the rhetorical analysis content. I'm going to leave that on here for this upcoming. I think that we're working towards these on the discussion boards and those. We still are going to go at the same timeline on this. I'll just adjust with the final draft, the rough draft on these. So it's still, I'm gonna have this on here instead of on Sunday. I'm gonna have that crossed out to say the next Wednesday on those. So when you guys watch your screen flash, when this flashes back in a second here, these are going to be adjusted so that you guys are clear about what's changed. I'm not going to change all these down here, okay? Just note that for weeks 4 and week 5. This is technically the break week. I'm just moving these things on the adjustment slightly, okay? So you'll see this change in just a second. So if there's a slight jump in your screen, I just changed this, and this, so you guys should see on the 4th week, instead of it saying do Sunday, this I pushed to originally already. So next Wednesday by 11:30 p.m. and you'll see that reflected up here in your upcoming events, right? So memoir rough draft for the class submission on this for me is due on the 6th of next week. That's what it's referring to here on week 4, next Wednesday being the following after week 4. Discussion board, I have this open and due the 29th, which is this upcoming Friday, I believe, by 11:30 p.m. on the 24th. So those are both reflected there on the availability. Remember, that means posted and reviewed of a classmates by then, no later. Then the final draft on this, guys, I moved to the 13th, so that's the Wednesday of the 5th week, so we won't have any changes there. I will be posting a 5th week overview video that covers a few new things, especially introducing the upcoming rhetorical analysis. I'm not going to push this at all. I think everything else being the same, we should be able to still move forward with that, okay? And again, just keep an eye on these files. There's nothing additional that I'm adding this week, guys. You should hopefully have some breather room on this if you did the things prior to. Otherwise, just like me with your professors with grading and things like that, we tend to use this as a catch-up week for most. Some of you, if you had the work done prior to this on those dates, you got most of this time off. Otherwise, use some of this break period from the class schedule to get caught up a little bit, okay? I appreciate you guys notifying me that there were some of those things on the discussion board, that it was the discrepancy between the 25th and 26th. My apologies. Those things can happen at times, but that's why it's important to remember about those communications and keeping those lines of communicate open. Remember, guys, the envelope at the top here about the communication for class, everything goes through instant messaging on here. I had a student make a comment. I forget who contacted me, but somebody made a comment about not a return on email. It's in my college course policies for everything. I do not deal with student email and those things until I've determined that is the route that we need to go. Too much gets lost, and too many students don't follow any of those protocols to begin with, and it just makes a paper trail nightmare for the rest of us. Students, remember, if there is something that you're communicating with anyone at OCC about via student email, it has to be through your OCC email only. In the meantime, for my classes, any communication begins with instant messaging here. Also, remember, when you first open a line of communication with me, I need all of this info with your name, the course and section number, so I know exactly what I'm looking at. I don't have 1, 2, 3, or 4 classes of these right now. I have 5, so it's very difficult to track down who's in which section. Especially, I have a number of students with similar or even the same names. I have students in different classes where the class is on a slightly different schedule. So asking me about a certain assignment when I'm not sure which stage your course is on can be really problematic. Make sure I get the course and section number with your first and last name the first time you open communication. Once you do, now we have that opening thread. I'll always see the entire thread when I open it up. I always select for the full messaging thread. Okay? All right, guys. So just make sure that you note those things, those slight adjustments on there, and hopefully it doesn't it doesn't take up all of this time this week, so you can have some break time. Make sure you're keeping up on the readings. I do have just a couple of things coming up in quizzes. You guys will note that in your grade books on here, there are a couple of them that on here on discussion boards. I had the quizzes go invisible on this side here at the beginning of the semester. There were 2 of them listed. I will put those back in as just some quick multiple choice ones onto your quizzes at the top. They'll get assigned. I think I have them set for weeks 7 and 8, so you'll see those come up. And they are in regards to reading, and they are timed. You only get to do them when they open up like that one time through when answering the questions. And they are focused specifically on reading selection things. So just make sure you're watching for those. It'll pop up both there and in your grade book. All right? It's just a note that I wanted to make on those. Make sure you're doing the reading. For those of you who have not been doing it, some of it's been obvious in some of the conversation points, but when we get to rhetorical analysis, especially for those of you who haven't been keeping up with it, it's really going to start to show with the language, the different subject-specific terminology, and the requirements of those assignments. It gets much more technical. So if you haven't kept up with the reading, now is the time to catch up. Okay? Let me know if you guys got questions. Look forward to seeing the next round of the work.